Alrighty, so we've got an equation. It just has x in it. And so what we want to do is solve for x. So at the end of this, we'll hopefully get x equals 10 or x equals negative 3 or something like that. And so the idea with these is to get x all by itself. Now, the problem is it's kind of messy. And so the first step we're going to do is simplify. So on these equations, we first simplify. And then we try to solve. And so simplify means, add like terms and things on this side of the equation, add like terms and things on this side of the equation. And then solve means get to the point of actually adding things to both sides or dividing both sides by something to get the answer. Hi Ellie, I'll be there in a few minutes if that's okay. You can just hang out if you like. So we go 2 times 5. So we do the distributive property. You okay with that? So 2 times 5x, 10x. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. Okay? Now this is the key here. This is probably the most likely place to get stuck on this question is right here. So what we have is a subtract sign outside of a parenthesis. Now just a quick refresher on the distributive property. If I have a bag and inside the bag there's 2 apples and 3 bananas, right? And if I put the number 10 here, that's kind of like 10 of those bags. And inside the bag I've got, here's an apple, here's another apple, here's a banana, here's a banana, here's a banana, right? 2 apples, 3 bananas, right? And so hopefully that makes sense. That's like having 20 apples and 30 bananas, right? But the question is, what happens if you just have a subtract outside there, 2a plus 3b? What does that mean? Like if you were to say, subtract that bag of a couple of apples and 3 bananas, what would that be? Yeah. Right. Right, 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 right. And that's the mistake. Because if I say subtract this bag of fruit, if I say I'm going to take this bag of fruit away from you, I'm not just taking apples away. I'm also taking away your bananas. You're not a happy monkey right now because I took, like I took it away. Like I took away the 2 apples. I took away the 3 bananas, didn't I? Because look, this stuff is contained inside the parenthesis. The parenthesis is communicating that all of this goes together, right? Now, if I'm taking away and the subtract is beside the parenthesis, it's taking away all of this stuff. So it's kind of like having a negative 1 outside here. And if you multiply the negative 1 in, you get negative 2a minus 3b. You're taking away the apples, you're taking away the bananas. Even more so, sometimes if it's more complicated, it's more simple. If I have an apple, a banana, a pineapple, and $5 in a bag, and I took that away, what would I be doing? Taking away the apple, taking away the banana, taking away the pineapple, and taking away $5. I took everything, all your fruit and your money, everything's gone. See, so it's like multiplying everything by negative 1, right? Now, it gets it gets more annoying, though, when you have, like, a negative inside there. Like, let's say, inside there's, I don't know, 3 apples minus $10, right? So that's 3 apples and a debt of $10. And take that away. Well, yeah, you'd be taking away the 3 apples, but you're also going to take away a debt of 10. If you take away a debt, it's like giving 10. So what we do is we just multiply by negative 1 to get negative 3a. And negative 1 times negative 10 is negative 1 times negative 10 plus 10. Says taking away that debt is like giving money. Like if you have a debt and I take it away, it's like giving money. So yeah, so it's a negative, negative, positive, right? So that's the problem. Yeah, that's where everybody's going to make a mistake on this. Is negative 1, multiply that in. And we get negative 2x plus 4. Okay, now everybody figure this one out for me. Negative outside of the 6x plus 1. Figure that out and write it down. See what you get. You got it. That turns into subtract 1. Multiply the negative 1 in. We get negative 6x minus 1. Correct. So that is the key. That's probably the key step to this whole thing. Because at this point, we can add like terms. 10x minus 2x. 8x. Negative 6 plus 4. Negative 2. Yeah. This is a negative 6x. 5 minus 1. Positive 4. Are we okay with the next step? And now it's solving. I always like to deal with the x's first, deal with the numbers. Remember, we're trying to get x by itself, like an x equals 10 or an x equals negative 3 or whatever. So I like to deal with the x's. You could subtract 8x from both sides. You could add 6x. I'm going to add 6x, but it's not the only way. In fact, you can do anything at this point as long as you do the same thing to both sides of the equation. You need to be adding and subtracting to both sides of this. Some students start doing things like they add and subtract to both sides of a subtract sign. No, no, no. Add and subtract to both sides of the equal sign. Anyway, 8x and 6x, 14x minus 2 equals 4. Right? Now what? Yep. 14x equals 6. Now what? Well, you actually, even better, you want to get x on its own because the answer is to get x equals something, right? So x is being multiplied by 14, so just go ahead and divide by 14. And just go ahead and divide that by 14. Good to go. Right. 6/14, yep. Yeah, yeah. 2 into 6, 3 times. Yeah, 2 into 14, 7 times 3 sevens, right? Yeah. On this step, there was other ways. I mean, we didn't have to add 6x. Like, we could have, I don't know, subtract 4 from both sides. That would work as well. And you get 8x minus 4 equals negative 6x. But the trick is, get x's on one side, numbers on the other. So get rid of that, guys. Subtract 8x. And now negative 4 equals negative 14x. And x has been multiplied by negative 14, so divide by negative 14 on both sides. And this is negative over negative positive. And I made a mistake there, didn't I? Because this should be negative 2 minus 4 should have been negative 6. Negative 6, not negative 4. Silly. That should be positive 6/14 equals x. Or same thing, 6/14 makes 3 sevenths when we simplify that fraction. So at this point, there was lots of ways to do it. As long as you're adding and subtracting to both sides of the equation, then it'll work out in the end. Yeah, cool. No, that's mere for.